Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Arden Hall, and in today's video we are going to be answering your questions. As I said, my name is Arden Hall. I am a booktuber, a bookstagrammer, and a Wattpad writer. All my social media links will be down below. Yesterday, I sent out a public message asking people on Wattpad to send me their questions when it comes to writing, and today we are going to be answering some of those questions. Question number 1. If you could switch places with anyone from your stories, who would it be and why? This is so exciting. Okay, first of all, I love my girl November from Entangled, but I'm choosing Jessie on this one. Jessie from Spring Break, she is such a bad bitch. We love her so much. She is the ultimate Sagittarius. If you can even describe a person by their zodiac sign. She is so carefree. She is incredible. I love her. But the reason why I'm choosing her is because she is surrounded by some of the hottest guys. And I just want to live in Culver Reef, have her family, have her friends. Her life sounds basically magical. Honestly, Culver Reef is a beach town. It's a tropical island type of small town that I want to live in. And since it's fictional, it unfortunately doesn't exist. Question number 2. What story genre would you pick to live your life like? Definitely not horror or thriller. That would be awful. I would choose romance would be fun. Fantasy. No, fantasy. Everybody dies in fantasy. All the good characters die in fantasy. So no, I would choose either teen fiction. No, I don't want to be stuck in high school the entire time. I would choose romance. Romance is such a broad genre. I feel like you can have teen fiction romance, you can have adult romance, you can have just a fun time. So, romance. Question number 3. If you could be any celebrity of your choice, who would it be and why? If you've read one of my books, you would know that I actually wrote a secret undercover fanfiction that isn't actually a fanfiction, but it could be. And people haven't actually still picked up on it that it's a fanfiction. But I would choose Ariana Grande because she is so talented and she is so. I would love to be her. I mean, live in her mind for at least a day. That would be insane. Because the things she thinks of when it comes to music and her talent and everything, like, and she collaborates with some of the coolest people. And everybody wants to be her anyway, so yeah, Ariana Grande. Next question. If you have to spend a whole day with any of the members of One Direction, who would it be? I know that 99.9% of people will know who they are, but if anyone doesn't, it is a boy band. Back when the band was still together and all members were in it, I was mostly a fan of Zayn, but I think I would have to go with Harry because I like his genre and style of music now most. So yeah, Harry. What's your favorite character you've written? Okay, Jessie from Spring Break is cool, but we have November from Entangled. We have Astrid now from the new version of My Bad Neighbor. However, my best favorite, most precious character would be Kimberly Montrose. Kimberly is such a complex character. She is so badass, but at the same time, she is so. She's just a character that you can't help but love, even though you started off hating her. Are any of the characters or stories inspired by real life? Yeah. My Bad Neighbor is inspired by my real life, but the new version. And it's not because of, bad boys or neighbors. It's because the new version has such an important anxiety rep in that book. I swear to God, like, I still get comments today and like messages, people saying that this book really helped them, make them feel less crazy because they feel like they are being understood. And this mental health representation and anxiety, this is something I'm really passionate about. This is something I, as a writer, just strive to destigmatize, I guess. I want to write it in a good way, in a way that isn't harmful, and that can make other people understand what a person is going through, even if they don't have any mental health, issues. And so it's, yeah, My Iowa Neighbor has mental health, which is something, a lot of the stories in that book are something that I had to go through. Next is, again, Entangled. A lot of what is in that book is something that I had to go through as well. And there are just tiny little bits and pieces of me in each character in Entangled. This is something I have been talking about in all my videos, like previously when I talked about Entangled. Almost every character. There is one character that I don't associate with, but almost every character is a part of me. It is a part of my personality, because we are so complex, and I feel like our emotions are so, they're not just one thing or one dimensional. We are so 3D. Everything, every emotion that we feel, we can be angry and hurt and pissed off and happy at the same time, and it won't make sense, but this is who we are. So in Entangled, I try to represent that and have that complexity with characters. So yeah, I enjoy it so much. This is also one thing. What else? Oh, yeah, okay. So in Spring Break, there is also this um, discussion about grief, which I have, since I have started recently posting a lot of chapters. I mean, I wrote 26 chapters in 12 days, which is around 45 to 50,000 words in 12 days, you guys. I was writing from morning till evening, and I was so tired. I pulled like 2 all-nighters, but it's fine. Anyway, that book, since I have been dealing with grief myself, has really helped me just talk about it more openly, have these discussions, have characters who are struggling in their own way, the way that I have been struggling. And the comments also helped me kind of cope with that as well. Like my readers who have been helping me by opening up with their own stories. So yeah, Spring Break grief, that is the representation that we love. Next question, how do you keep up with writing and reading? So the best way to go about it, the way I go about it, is I aim to write one chapter a week. That is like one day's work. One chapter a week, go, write it. Then the rest of the days I spend reading, filming, doing Bookstagram stuff, editing videos, all of that. So writing for now is just like one chapter a week when I do Wattpad. I also write offline sometimes when I feel like it. So there's a lot of stuff that you guys don't see, but that's just kind of my aim so that I can give you guys frequent updates. Top 3 books you love on Wattpad. You see, I haven't been reading that much on Wattpad. Wait, let me think. Top 3. First one is definitely Text Short, which is the cell phone swap. That is like my favorite. Second one, I would have to say Chasing Fred. I love this one. Third one, Entwined was very entertaining. And all of these are like published Wattpad stories. I haven't been reading on Wattpad that much, so I guess these are my top 3 choices. I know that every single one of them is a published book, but you know what? They're published for a reason, because they're good. Next question, have you ever had a writer's block or just like a reading block? If yes, then how do you get over it? Hey, hi, I'm a writer. Hi, every writer has a writer's block, okay? At least once, at least. And writer's block is so hard to get over. But let me go on Instagram, because I had this conversation with someone, and I just want to read you guys everything that I wrote, because this is a long message and it really helps. There are a lot of tips, and I don't want to miss out on any of the tips, so let me just find the message and send and read it to you guys. So the best way to work through your writer's block is to accept that sometimes you'll have phases where you'll write a ton, and other times you'll genuinely struggle to write a single word. What I meant by that is some months you will write a ton. Like I will have months where I write so much, but then sometimes even a year I won't be able to write anything, and I will just need to kind of take a break from everything. Your creativity is like a well, and when you keep drinking from that well, it'll dry up sooner or later without any rainfall. I actually don't know how wells work, but let's just say that I'm right. You need to give yourself time to ingest other creative pieces such as TV shows, movies, or other books. Just like give yourself time to get inspired, to get in the mood, you know. Something will spark your sense of passion sooner or later. But if you desperately need to return to that writing state, if you have deadlines, I've got a couple of pieces of advice. Now, one piece of advice that I thought of right now that I didn't mention here, reading books or watching shows that are similar genre. For example, if you're writing a vampire book, read vampire books, watch vampire TV shows. That will help you so you don't really take a step back from that world, but you're still in that world, just not in your own vampire world, if that makes any sense. You're still in that state of mind where you're thinking of your story, but you're not working on it. You're just taking a break from it. So that is what helps me a lot. The next thing is writing sprints with writers. You can join groups on Discord or find yourself a writing buddy that will hold you accountable. Set a time, and during the duration of that time, write however much you can. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be written. So leave the editing for later. Don't go back and re-edit because you will never finish a book if you keep going back to it. Cover making. Go on Unsplash or Pexels or Pixabay and get some copyright-free pictures that suit your book aesthetics or that will work well on your cover, and go on Canva to create a new cover while listening to a playlist of the songs that fit well with your book. It's bound to get you in the creative writing mood. Next, we have plot out the next 10 chapters. Listen, you don't need to figure out the entire book, just a few chapters that can help you out and give you a general idea of what you want to happen. When you're stuck, it's best if you have some guidance and some quick notes that will help you out. You don't need to go into detail. For example, you can, write for chapter 3. Your MC was in school and had a bad breakup in front of everybody. Chapter 4 could be her crying at home and her friends coming to console her. Chapter 5 could be that she meets a cute boy and embarrasses herself or something. Just general ideas for each chapter. Just something quick that you know what to write and don't end up staring at the blank page. Another advice that I have, which is something that I don't recommend. Write a different book. I don't recommend this because a lot of people then completely abandon their old project for the shiny new one, but some writers swear by this method because they need a different genre to stimulate their mind and brain. However, I really wouldn't recommend this because if you start working on 2 projects, it's hard to focus on both, and a lot of writers, especially in the beginning, they just abandon their old one, so don't recommend this. One piece of advice I also have is to tell yourself that you don't need to write an entire chapter. Just sit down one day and decide you're gonna write 100 words. That's just one paragraph. It's gonna take you 3 minutes. It's a simple paragraph. Start there. And if you feel like your inspiration is coming back, keep going. But do not put pressure on yourself. So for example, just write 1 paragraph every single day, and sooner or later you'll start figuring out what you want to write. So, almost forgot. A change of scenery. Take your laptop or your computer out and write somewhere where you haven't written yet, such as a cafe or a park, or if you're writing in an office, switch it to your backyard, etc. This helps boost your inspiration. During the pandemic, we've all mixed up our workspace with sleep space, so our brain literally cannot tell the difference. So if you're for example, if you usually write in your bedroom, if you've been, stuck at home, you can't switch your brain into work mode anymore in your bedroom. So you need to find a different place. And if none of that works, just switch to writing by hand. Don't write on the computer, write by hand. That usually helps. So these are some of the tips for writer's block. For reading block, I am currently dealing with that now. So just allow yourself some time not to read and then go back into it when you feel like it. Next question. I wanted to ask where you get your inspiration and ideas from. Also, which writers inspire you. This is so weird because I hate this question a lot and I get it the most. Where do you get inspiration and ideas from? I don't. I don't know where I get it from, but like there's no real thing like where do you get your inspiration from? I don't know, because all of my ideas that I've had so far, I don't rely on other work. I don't copy other work. I don't rely on other work to just, to help to inspire me, because a lot of people on Wattpad will say they are inspired by, and then they copy another person's work, which is a whole different thing. But yeah, I don't know where I get my ideas from. They just come to me, I write them down, and then I develop it, I work on it, I sit down, I work on my story, I plot it out. Sometimes some books I plot out, others I don't, but I just work on them until I am satisfied, and then I start writing them. Mostly it's just me improvising, and I wish I could tell you where I get my ideas from, but I really have no idea. Which writers inspire you? I love Sarah J Maas, but her writing will be nothing like mine, because her writing is like god tier, whereas mine is like trash tier. Who else? I love Morgan Matson. I think if I ever publish Spring Break, I would love to have Morgan Matson's agent. That is like my dream. I would love to have Morgan Matson's agent. Who else? I'm just inspired by, I think Sarah J Maas mostly. Jennifer L. Armentrout also. Those are, I think, all the writers that inspire me, but I don't really, when I think about their career, I don't see myself following their footsteps, if that makes any sense. Because some writers, they would see, oh, this writer, this is exactly who I want to be. No, I know I have my own path. And we've come to the last question. Do you have a flow for how you write? For example, a routine or habit. I write in the nighttime. I cannot write a word before 6 p.m. So if I want to write, I have to sit down at my desk, and I have to pull an all-nighter if I want to finish a chapter, if I want to write a chapter. I cannot write in my bed because I don't have a laptop anymore, because I gave it to my dad, and that is messing with my head. So if you want to donate, I have a Ko-fi account where I save money for a laptop so that I can actually, when I go out, I can write books, and I can switch up my environment when I have writer's block. But honestly, just like, yeah, writing on here, which I hate writing at my desktop. My laptop is where I write most. Then I have to have coffee or water because I have to stay hydrated. I'm the kind of person who gets a lot of migraines, and I get them a lot. Like, if the outside weather changes, like if the pressure changes, if one day the weather is sunny and the next day there's gonna be a storm, I'm gonna get a migraine. And that just is so painful to cope with as a writer, because you still have work to do. You still have to film videos, you have to edit, you have to stay on deadline, you have all these things that you need to do. And because I am so sensitive to headaches, any kind of light, desktop, laptop, computer light, just starts up my headache. So I have to take a lot of breaks during writing, or I have to write half of the chapter today and the next chapter, like the next half tomorrow, because I can't stare at the screen for too long. I also have to write at a quiet place. I cannot write like outside at a very loud cafe without my earphones. I have to have earphones in and music playing outside. But inside, I would have... There are only two things that I allow myself to listen to while writing, because everything else distracts me. One is the Titanic soundtrack, and second is the Celine Dion, hits. These are the two things that I am allowed to listen to, because otherwise I will not be able to focus on writing anything. Oh, okay, so I have, like, this is spring break, and inside I have, like, notes and stuff, and I would usually have notes for every single chapter, so I plot it out and have it in notes, so that I know what to write. Here I have spring break era, and these are all the books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books that I have planned for the spring break stuff. Then we have Entangled era, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 books planned for this. Then we have love, teen fiction, romance books, and these are all my ideas that I basically have for future books. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I plan on writing, and so on. It's like, it's so much fun just having these. Not to mention that I also have, also I know that I'm not sticking to the question, but let me just talk, okay? I also have magic and fantasy books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ideas for magic and fantasy. And then we have mental health books. 1, 2, 3 mental health books. I don't count here the My Bad Neighbor, My Bad Roommate books. And also in these things, I don't count playing against a player, playing against a sister. I mean, players game, sisters game. Oh my gosh. Okay, then we have apocalyptic books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apocalyptic books that I have planned. And of course, Sister, which are 2 books that I'm planning on writing with my sister. And before I start actually writing anything, I do, just make these envelopes, and on here are like my goals. They are very ambitious goals, but you know what they say? Shoot for the moon, and if you fail, you'll like land among the stars, so it's fine. Whenever I hit a goal or a milestone, I just cross it out. So this is so much fun, and it really motivates me to keep on writing and keep on going. So for example, when a book hits 100 reads, 500, 1k, 2k, 55k, I don't know, like so many reads, I will get to cross it out. I also have it for votes and for chapters. Like when I write 5 chapters, I get to cross it out. When I write 10 chapters, I get to cross that goal out. And I have it like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 chapters, and I get to cross it out. Also, I have it when it comes to word counts and other stuff. So this is such a great way to keep track of your goals, to keep track of your progress, and it also inspires you and motivates you to keep going. But when it comes to books, actually writing books, and my routine or habit, I don't stick to planning every single book out. Some of them, what I would normally do is I would write out the first 10 to 15 chapters of a new book so that I can get acquainted with the world. I will improvise the first 10 chapters or 15 chapters, and then I would plan out the next 10 chapters so that I know what's gonna happen. And I don't think of these plotted out chapters as something that I should stick by. This is not like a concrete plan. I'm allowed to change my mind if I get a different idea. I am allowed to go in a different direction, which is why I don't plan out the whole book. I only plan it out by sections so that if I change my mind, I can just I don't have to readjust everything. And then once I'm done with those chapters, I plan out the next 10 chapters, and that is what works for me. Some people will improvise all of the books. I did that with My Bad Neighbor, with Player's Game. I did that with my first few books. I found that it doesn't really, it helps when writing, but it doesn't really help when you have a lot of plot holes and you don't know what's going on. So this is not the approach that I would take. My writing style is mostly a mix between improvising and plotting. So it's like a balance between the two. But I cannot be solely a plotter. I need to allow myself some creative freedom. Otherwise, I'm gonna get stuck. Yeah, I guess that is it for my routine and habit and stuff. This is how I do my things. If you're interested in my future videos, I could go through my notebooks and I could talk a little bit more in depth about my writing and what the process looked like for each one of my books, because that is so interesting. Each book is so different. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like me to do a Q&A number 2, like part 2 or whatever, leave it down below. Let me know. I am sorry if this video is quite long. I ramble a lot, I talk a lot, and that's how you know that I am very relaxed, because when I talk about writing, this is like my safe space. And I think that I'm gonna talk a lot more about my writing on here, because I find that when talking about writing, my words just flow, whereas when I'm talking about reading, I really struggle getting across my points, and I really struggle with self-doubt, and because I'm not the most analytical reader, that is something that just, sticks at the back of my mind, because there's a lot of hate coming to people who are reading for fun and not being too analytical. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, all this stuff, and let me know if you want to have part 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!